welcome to your Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. I'm Fred DePalma, your host, here with my lovely wife, Robin DePalma, and today we have our special guest, Tucker. Tucker, want to introduce yourself to everybody, and what it is you mainly do?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Tucker Welch. I'm the Director of Communications for the team. I always get that question, like, what does that title mean? What does that entail? And it's very umbrella. It's set up to be kind of like an umbrella term for a reason, because the better question is almost like, what do I not do, right? Some of my main responsibilities are social media and the website for the team. A lot of team communications within, me and the head coach are in constant communication, work very closely with the owners. We're in the office every day, just making sure that we stay up to date on the game script and the game op script. So there's all this planning that goes into game week, which we'll kind of touch on later and kind of get into. But yeah, I mean, those are like my main focuses, but that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg with this position. So
yeah, I think in the office, the big words we hear in there is Tucker.
Yep.
Tucker.
Yeah, very common, very common. I try to get up and be as responsive as possible, no matter what, answer the bell, no matter what we need to do. So,
well, the thing is, we put on games. It's a pro football team, and we're very short staffed in our office, without a doubt. And so there's the three of us and Bryce. Bryce is on part time, and that's what's running everything to get a game together. And everyone has their hats that we wear, and we all wear multiple hats. So there's just not one duty for anybody in the office, but Tucker wears a lot of hats, and a lot rides on him and what he does between the coaches and upstairs for everything that you guys get to see online. And league-wise, they reach out for different stats or players and signings and releases and so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes on. But what we want to talk about today a little bit is a little behind the scenes for everybody of what happens to get a home game ready. I mean, when it's an away game, we're still working in the office. There's things to do, but we get to go and enjoy the game. When it's a home game, we get to watch it the next day by logging into the IFL network and sitting home. So my wife and I, normally it's a Saturday game. We usually wake up Sunday morning, we start breakfast, and we turn on the game and say, okay, what we missed.
It's game day.
Yeah, it's game day. We get to see it the day after. And during the game, you see Tucker is running operations this year, which means he's wearing, they call it the red hat. We call it the orange hat. We do orange because our team's in red, so everybody else has a red hat on in the stand, so we give him an orange hat here, which means the refs are looking at you for stopping the clock and commercials and so on and so forth. But that's on game day, where we see you jumping around and throwing T-shirts. What's going on Monday through kickoff? I know, kind of, because I'm there.
Yes.
I know the hours that we're putting in Monday through kickoff of 10 to 12 hours a day to get the game ready. But what is it that you're doing?
Home game weeks are always a grind. It seems to be almost like a never-ending to-do list that somehow gets done right before Saturday. Right. So, there's a number of things that we do. The biggest thing is kind of coming in from the previous week. We do kind of like a little bit of recap of the previous game, highlights, that sort of thing. But all the preparation kind of starts with the game script. I would say that's the biggest task. It's like playing musical chairs with different giveaways and all these things that we do during the game. And Robin does a great job of selling those things, and then I have to be the one to make sure that they
plug them in,
that they fit.
That they fit in the script. So it's a lot of musical chairs, kind of like I said, but that will take some time to plan out. And obviously there's corresponding graphics that go with each thing that we do, so that way the video board has like a corresponding visual to everything. Making sure that the PA announcer knows what he needs to say, and that we get all the right sponsored taglines in there and everything. Kind of putting together the game day program for both the fans and our local media, making sure that they know who's on both teams. I also put our name pronunciations in there for our players, because we got a few guys that, will stump you if you're just trying to read the name off. So those things, different promotions that we have going on for game day, what giveaways are we doing, what is the sponsor of the game giving away. I feel like me and Robin just work so closely to try to make sure there's no over communication in our office. It's because we just talk everything out. There's no such thing as over communicating, because I'd rather be prepared and know exactly what Robin's thinking to make sure that both of our visions come together in the right way on game day. So That's just like a little bit of a taste.
And what I was say, their offices upstairs in the arena is where our offices are. Their offices are across a little hall from each other, and the doors are slightly offset, but they can basically see each other if they need to, so they can communicate right from their desk. And I get to hear it. I hear the talking going on back and forth.
Well, it's been fun working with Tucker because, we've been running businesses for 30 years. Well, 40. You longer, 40 now, and I've never had a staff member like Tucker that we're just on the same page, and he gets my vision, and, I work him hard, and he loves working hard. So I guess that's the key there is I've always worked hard, and I've not found anybody yet to be my equal until I found Tucker. And then I'm like, I think I found my match, because Tucker can keep up.
Last night I told Tucker, go home. It was about 8 o'clock. He said, go home. I just got to finish this one last thing. He said, go home. You got to come back in the morning. You'll still be here tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes on before the game. Now, you talked about the game scripts and everything. That's it's like we're putting on a show in a sense, and we have to follow the script. I mean, there's a football. We can't control what's going on in the football game, but all those timeouts and halftime and at the end of the quarters and everything that's going on in the middle, plus the announcer has to know what he's doing. And then there's a whole production crew, and they rely on you too, because even there's 10 people or more in the production crew that show up on game day, and they have to have that script because that's going to be the commercials. The players that maybe they're putting pictures up of, one to hit the button there's all sorts of buttons upstairs to make things work. I don't know how any of it works. I just know it ends up
what sponsor goes with what thing that happens during the game and what button to hit.
And then there's also the script that gets hung in both locker rooms. Let's talk about that one a little bit. Yes. A lot of people don't know about this.
Right. That's true. This is a good insight. So we have what's called a timing sheet, and it's basically a breakdown of everything that happens in pregame leading up to kickoff, basically, so that both teams are on the same page. I mean, it tells you everything from when the field's in use, when the field opens up for the players to go out and to be able to warm up as individuals. And then there's specific times that the team goes out for like half the field. They get half the field, they get 10 minutes, and then they get the full field for 20. So when you see, like, if you come to a game and you're early enough to see pregame warmups, you see that point where we split the field and go opposite directions. We tell the away team and our team when to be at their bench to get announced. We say when the coin toss is going to be, and it ends up really flowing really well, just the way that we have it spelled out. I always get amazed because pregame is always like the most hectic time before a home game. Right. I mean, there's so many moving parts between coin toss guests and mascots and pregame entertainment with Storm Elite, but it always flows and it always
coming
works
in the
out.
Side door.
Yeah, vendors
where do I
coming
go?
in.
Right. We have a lot going on.
The phone calls that I can't even answer.
Right. So that's important, so everybody knows. On game day, we're not in the office answering the phones. We're in the arena, but we're not anywhere near one of the phones because we're running around trying to get everything started. So we end up after the game or the following day listening to messages that
asking questions about tickets
game days. Basically, it's game day, baby. We're not working. Not that we don't care. Everybody's busy. Everybody's busy making sure the game happens.
Yeah, it's amazing how scheduled it is.
Yeah,
and you'll see that when you watch the game. Now pay attention to that and look at when the teams come to their bench and the timing of everything, and you'll see how like clockwork it goes and how everybody shows up when they're supposed to, and it's because they have a timing script and everybody is following that script to the T, and it's up to Tucker to make sure everybody's staying on schedule.
So what's really neat is it all starts with the pregame meal. So normally our games are Saturday at 6:05 kickoff. That means there's a 2:00 meal. So like last week when we had a Sunday game at a 3:00 kickoff, meal was then at 11. Okay. So that's the beginning of the script. So the first two home games, the meals were provided to both teams because the home team provides the pregame and the postgame meal for the visiting team. And so the first two games, the pregame meals were provided by Gabby's, and Jim cooked both meals and we fed them in the arena. Starting with our third home game and here on out, the pregame meals are being sponsored by Texas Roadhouse. And it'll still be in the arena. We have to actually find somebody to go pick those up. And they bring it to 2:00. So the visiting team actually eats at the high top tables in our Wranglers zone. And our home team eats outside their locker room in the back of their back house of the arena. They don't eat together. Obviously, they eat separate because they're focused on what they're doing. And so that has to be on the script too. I mean, there's a script that goes to the other team, beforehand. It doesn't even have all the locker room script. It just says, this is who's feeding you, and this is what's on the menu. And then at the end of the game, this is who's feeding you, and this is what's on the menu. And sometimes post-game, we have different restaurants that will do the feeding of, it's actually 65 meals.
Yeah, and Jackie Boy's Pizza.
Yeah.
She took on the task this game, and she's a great Wranglers fan.
Yes.
So she's got seats upstairs, and you know, I'm like, you know, we got to get the meals delivered to us, and she's got her kitchen working hard.
Jackie
and,
Boys is making enough pizzas. I think it's 25 pizzas to feed everybody.
32.
32. Okay.
Yeah.
And then delivering them before the end of the game. So it's kind of like we're there in contact, like, okay, we're in the last quarter. We got X amount of minutes to go. You know how long the last minute can take sometimes, or it could surprise you and be done. And they get it there. So when the guys are done, they go back to the locker room. There's dinner. And also we have to feed the refs too. And we have to have all that is going on. And that's happening the week of as well, because we have to then confirm all of these. Because in the past, we've actually had a restaurant too go, oh, we forgot, we can't do it. And they're like, uh-oh. And
at 5:30.
Yeah. It was a couple of years
for
ago.
dinner,
we
for post-game
ran to
dinner.
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Because who was supposed to deliver meals, they didn't do it. And all of a sudden.
Well, that was great for
on the
Taco
road.
Bell, because we were honestly on the phone with so many local restaurants, and
Yes.
we're like the first one that says yes. You know?
Gotta jump
And
at
they
it.
said they could do it. And I got a funny story is I forget what team it was. It was last year. And I went to the visiting team's locker room and I said, I apologize that, you know, we didn't have what we said was going to be here. And I felt really bad and that we had to get you Taco Bell. And the whole team in the other locker was like, this is awesome. This is great. We don't get Taco Bell. You know, I was feeling bad, and they were just loving it because they had just tons of tacos. I forget how many we got, but they were all well taken care of. So that's our community, you know, helping out. I mean, we had to go buy them and everything, but they lived up to the task. They
gave us a good price too.
Yeah, they gave us a discount. And they lived up to it, and they got it ready. So that's another part of getting ready for a game is pregame meals, postgame meals. We have to get those organized.
Yeah. From the top down, it's really incredible, like the amount of communication that's required to make things go. And that's why we appreciate our community so much for stepping up in those moments, because we just talked about being short-staffed and, you know, having those lack of resources. And so when people step up for us like that, it's really helpful.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, communication from the top down, whether it's me and you or me and Robin or me and Coach James or Coach Mike and these businesses, these sponsors, it's crazy. Like the amount of coordinating and planning that we do beforehand to make sure that a game goes the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're gonna cut it there. There you have it. Tucker's work week before a home game. It gets pretty busy for everybody up there, but it's more than just the game going on. In order to produce the game, there's a lot of other things that have to get put in place to put that game together.
And if you'd like to see all this in person, I mean, we're not going to let you get here and hang out in the office for the whole week, but we have
Unless you're going to work.
we have our VIP behind the scenes tour. And this is what we show you. So we show you the end result. We show you that script and how many pages it is and how that works. And we show you all the prep that goes into the games and the production crew up there and the announcers, the broadcast announcers up there, and give you a tour of all of that and kind of give you that visual of everything we just talked about. So VIP behind the scenes tour offered at every game. Just give us a call if you'd like to do it.
And that tour is normally given by you.
It is.
Yeah?
Yes.
So Robin gives everyone the tour. So it's a lot. I always see everybody walking around. So it's a lot of fun. Well, Tucker, we appreciate you having you out here with us today and chatting about what you do and all the hard work you put into it. So it's a team effort. The team is on the field trying to win the games. And the team, that's, you know, the office and the coaches are right behind them, trying to make sure these guys are doing their best and trying to get a win. And not only a win on the field, we want them to win in life as well. So we're doing all we can to help set them up for success in every areas. Okay, well, thank you very much. And we're going to be back in just a moment with one of our other guests. I don't know if we're going to have a coach or a player on next, but go Wranglers. And welcome back to your Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup. I'm Fred DePalma here with my wife, Robin. And Robin, who's our special guest?
We have Coach Burley, our offensive coordinator, here today. So we're going to learn all about him.
Yeah, well, welcome,
You're going to know him well after today.
Before we get started about team and players and everything, why don't you tell us a little bit about, I mean, I know people can go online and read it, but why don't you tell us a little bit about your football background?
Wow. So I just recently joined the IFL 2 years ago with the Arizona Rattlers. So haven't been in this league for too long, but in arena football, playing since 2001, I started playing, coaching 2011 in the AFL. coached as head coach in NAL for 4 years, winning 2 championships in those 4 years with Jacksonville Sharks, which is in the IFL now. So, just got to this point, was with Arizona, won the championship last year, and just looking for an opportunity to call plays in this league and, win some games.
Great. And now that's your coaching career. Now, what about your player's career?
So I started actually in Orlando with Jay Gruden. Brought me to the arena style football years ago, 2001, with the Orlando Predators, and really started my career under him, and it got 2 years with him, and then I ended up bouncing around to landing in LA and then Arizona with Danny White, and spent some years with Danny White, going to some championships with him, and going to Utah, following him with Utah Blaze with Danny White. Under him was Player of the Year. Nice. Twice, once Writers Association and then once, AFL Player of the Year. So learned a lot from him with offense and things like that from that old era with him and Jay. And then finished my career back with the Rattlers under Kevin Guy, where I ended up, falling into my coaching, starting there with my coaching career in Arizona with him in 2011. And we went to the championship the first year. So that's kind of how it went.
Oh, that's great. Now, what's pretty neat is you and Coach James have a relationship.
Yeah. So, when I mentioned Danny White, Coach James was on that staff, the defensive staff there in Utah. I think that was 2007. But after that, we both coached in the AFL.
Right.
I was looking at a game the other day where I just didn't realize, I was coaching against him when I was in Cleveland and he was in Tampa, and several times. Actually, when I was in Orlando, we played, his team was 15-1 coming in, and we had a battle down in Orlando for the, go on to the semifinal game. And he was heavily favored, and we ended up winning in there.
Oh,
down in Orlando. So I talk about that with him a lot, actually, because he had a squad.
Remember when?
He was heavily favored. I was like, yeah, that's how we knocked you guys off. You guys were 15-1 or something coming in there, but he had a squad and they were playing well, and somehow got the win down in Orlando against him that year. So those are some of the memories we have. Going against each other more so than that 1 year in Utah.
Right.
So yeah, we had some battles for sure.
That's great. In the locker room, the players, there's a lot of talk goes on between the players. They're always getting each other fired up or getting each other's nerves a little bit, but that's what they do. Well, in the coaches' offices, there's even some other talk going on too, is what we just found out from everybody. So there's smack talk all over the place going on downstairs. So that's great.
For sure. All good fun.
So we brought in a couple new quarterbacks. What can you tell us about these guys?
So, the game of arena football is different. It just really is. The angles, the timing, the adjustments to your footwork, it's different, and it takes a while to get acclimated to. And so there's just no replacement for experience.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some experienced guys in the pocket now that you saw, with Caleb's first start. He had some instant success. We shot up, at least 10 to 15 points in scoring, quickly with a couple days practice. But, those little nuances that are already there with their games, as far as understanding the coverages in this league, the timing of things, the footwork, repetitions, the release quickness, all that's, it takes time to get. And so when you got some veterans that have done that and can speak the same language as you quickly, it really translates to success in offense.
Without a doubt. And what about Atkins? What do you have to say about him coming in?
So, Atkins was in camp with us. We got a chance to get a foundation, already. So, he's hit the ground running. And again, he's got those tools and those reps that, it takes a while for a rookie to get, so the speed of the game, things are slow for him compared to a rookie. The spacings of the coverages and zones seem small to a rookie. They're night and day bigger to a veteran. You know what I mean? That knows how to hit that timing, and these verticals down we're stretching the field with the hole shots and things like that. And he's not afraid because the timing is there, the reps are there. He knows what he's seeing, and he's throwing with confidence.
All right. Well, I've had the opportunity to go to practice today a little bit and watch both QBs work, and it seems like things are moving so much faster. you know, not just the play, but the development of the play, the calls, everything like that in practice, and the excitement of the defenses seem to have been excited the whole time, and
100%.
the offense is even pumped. I'm hearing them now a lot more, and I was talking to some of the defense. I go, "Is there a difference?" They go, "Yeah, we're working harder right now, you know, during practice." So I'm like, "Well, that's wonderful." I mean, and that's what it is, just the experience of them coming in.
Yeah,
They know the game, because it is a different game than everyone came up through college and playing as kids outdoors. It's fast. It's just a lot faster.
There's a lot different, even with Atkins' experience, because he's actually had experience in the system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was in Tucson, where Chin was the OC, who was in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the verbiage to him is second nature, as well as compared to Caleb, where the verbiage, you know, is not second nature to him. So
Right.
there's even more of an instant comfort zone there, spitting out plays, and the visual. You know, I can tell from me telling him to play, he's not taking the play and reciting it. He's visualizing it, and so when he goes in the huddle, he doesn't lose it because
Right.
he's already visualizing it. Whereas someone who's new to the system, like Caleb, you know, not so much visualizing it yet, more so trying to recite it, and then kind of as he breaks the huddle, probably then trying to visualize it, you know. So all that goes to success,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, you know, not to mention the physical differences between the quarterbacks that we have now and the other guys. We're a little shorter guys. So I'm just looking at film, just the little things, being able to see things a little clearer. I think it helps with the vision. I think it helps with some of the bad snaps because they're longer limb guys and they're just reaching out. I know I've seen Atkins just reach out one hand, grab the snap, and keeps his eyes down the field and can throw it, versus the shorter guys that have to take their eyes off, reach, grab the ball.
Right.
Then we have snap problems, and just it's a lot of little things that
Yeah.
are going on that are under the radar
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, are really going to help us be successful.
Good. So our game coming up is going to be against the Rattlers. Okay, and so like you said at the beginning, you were there last year. You won a championship with them last year. They're doing okay this year. They're doing pretty good at the beginning of the season. So how's your feeling going in against your old head coach?
Well, I mean, we've got some good quarterback play, so that's a huge, as you mentioned, encouragement and energy lift among the team because of all the details that are getting better. Even pocket presence, and the line is excited because he's a mobile guy that also, you know, can make some plays with his feet. That also helps the defense or helps us, you know, put pressure on the defense with both run and pass threat.
Right.
You know, so we've got a lot of tools that we are bringing to the table now that we didn't have the last time. And this is a guy that's beaten the Rattlers. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's another thing. So there's definitely a different mindset from both teams, I'm sure, in this battle than there was the last time because, you know, we've changed for sure.
Right. Well, it's a Saturday night game.
Right.
And we know
Memorial Day weekend.
Right,
That's
right.
going to be a fun
and
weekend.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
So people down in Phoenix, they are already planning on coming up to get out of the 150-degree temperature to be here where it's a little bit cooler. So they're bringing up fans. Every time we play the Rattlers, we want to reach out to our community and say, get those tickets. We don't need them to buy them.
Right,
We want you guys to buy them. We want to
Exactly.
fill the house and the noise with our people, not have 2,000 of their fans up. And now, you know, we're happy to have everybody up here that loves football without a doubt, but we want our locals in here. So get your friends, get the party started,
Absolutely.
get everybody down here. to
And
cheer
hurry,
us
because
on.
they are getting those tickets
Yes.
booked up fast.
They
It's
are.
like
They're-
if you haven't done it yet, get on it.
They're calling up the
Yeah.
office about the Wranglers own tables.
Yeah.
They're calling about suites. I mean, it's like let's get as many people up here from the Quad Cities to cheer on your Wranglers as possible, because we have to be louder than them.
Right.
And we have a great fan base at every one of our games, without a doubt. I mean, and we are loud in there, but we want to fill those extra seats right now with our locals.
Right.
We sold out the game with the Rattlers last year because of the fans that come up from Phoenix. It's so close. We want to sell it out again this year, but we want to sell it out with 99% being local fans. That's the
Yeah.
idea. You know, nothing against the other
Make them
football
watch the
team,
game
but
from
we
the
wanna
parking
win.
lot,
Right.
from tailgating.
Yeah,
Right.
They can come to tailgating and put up their TVs outside.
Right.
How's that?
Sounds great.
That's wrong. Robin, you have any questions for Coach?
No, we're excited to have you here this year. It's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the entire coaching staff this year. I just really like the positiveness of everybody and how everybody's working together and how much experience everybody has. And so I think those have been great things to bring to us this year that we've really enjoyed. So we really enjoy our coaching staff.
Yeah, and I think some of the points that you brought up that people don't understand is, it's like speaking a different language. So we have a team and not all these players you've worked with before. So you're speaking one language and one vision. And they have to try to get to understand that. And so we're off to a rough start, but we keep getting a little bit better each time and closer. And obviously we made some changes. So that's okay because it's still the start. There's still a lot of season left.
Absolutely.
And we've made the proper changes. And, from what I see with the coaching staff, now I'm not on the staff, but I get to sit there and watch is, sometimes we're getting people in that they look great, but it just doesn't make sense or they don't fit the package that you're putting together.
Sure.
Great player, but this isn't their package.
Sure.
And so that's where changes and adjustments are made. So I think the coaching staff's doing a good job trying to keep the Wranglers, competitive against everybody else in the league.
Absolutely. I'm excited, for what's to come with the new guys that we have and the identity that we're taking on offense for sure. So it'll be exciting to see.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Coach, for being here today. That was our Coach Burley, our offensive coordinator, and we want to see everybody at the game this Saturday against the Rattlers. Go Wranglers! And welcome back to the Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup with Fred and Robin DePalma as your hosts. And we have a special guest here today. Robin, you'd like to introduce our guests?
Yeah, we're super excited to have Jamal Couch here, wide receiver for the Wranglers, and man, seen some good stuff this year already.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, Jamal, how tall are you?
6'5".
6'5". Just so you guys know, there's Jamal's tall. Okay, so what I like to do is find out a little bit about you. I mean, the thing about this show is not just the game or what we're doing, but our fans like to know a little bit background on some of our players. So where'd you go to high school, college, pro? So on and so forth.
Pretty much I started football from the beginning, like since a baby could walk. So 6 years old, I started my career and pretty much worked in high school. I'm from Alabama also. So Central High School, then I worked my way up, went to Mississippi State, got done with Mississippi State, and then I took on the stint in the pros for almost a year, and now I'm here with the Wranglers.
All right, great. And where'd you go with the pros?
Seattle Seahawks.
Nice. Well, it rains there too much anyways. So
Every day.
Right.
Robin's has an identical twin sister that lived in Seattle for many, many years.
Yeah, it was nice to visit and enjoy some rain for a couple days and then come back to the sun. It's like, we joke, I'm like opposite weather.
Right. And so now with your position, you're a wide receiver. Have you always played that since you've been 6, or did you bounce around and then found that as your home?
Pretty much I started as a running back, but I started getting too tall. So my coach came in, he was like, hey, big fella, like you can't be running the ball and you're standing over everybody. So they put me at actually linebacker for a while.
Okay.
Then they moved me to safety. And after I got my new head coach, he put me at wide receiver, and the rest has been history.
Nice. So you're enjoying that position?
Yes,
I've watched you reach up there and scoop some balls out of the air, so that's pretty sweet to see, without a doubt.
Yes,
so
sir.
with the team, well, we just talked to Coach Burley. We brought a couple new quarterbacks in.
Yes, sir.
And how you getting along with them? How's their ball getting to you and so on?
Hey, zip with it. It's coming on time. Everything's perfected. The drops, it's timing with the lineman, correlate with our route. So everything is polished up and looking much better.
So it's getting where it needs to be. And what's the feel with the offense? They a little bit more excited?
Yeah, it's more exciting. Coach James been preaching tempo, so everyone is like having a better mindset and a better grasp around what we're trying to get accomplished this week.
Okay, great. Well, that's a lot of fun to know. And like I was saying earlier too, with Coach Burley, as I was at practices and watching, I could see things are moving a little bit faster and going on. Now, I've asked this question to other players in the past, last year a lot. What's the main difference you feel between the outdoor game and the indoor game?
Pretty much timing and having your head around, because that 100-yard is cut down to 50, and the width is cut down also. So everything is a timing thing. You can't be doing your own thing and then throw everybody else off. So it's pretty much you have to be perfect on timing, or you'll look crazy and have everybody else looking crazy.
Is it faster? I mean,
100 times faster. There's
yeah.
nowhere to go.
Right. You have to think faster too, is what it seems like, because like the QBs aren't stepping back into the pocket and having they got like a step and a half, and decisions have to get made.
Yes, it's a very decisive game.
Right. Yeah, that's exciting. And with all of your years of playing, what's something that you remember the most I don't care if you were 6 years old, what was something in football that sticks out in your mind? We all have that. It's like, man, that was cool.
I have to do my first IFL touchdown. Like it's been pretty rough for us, pretty much going ahead and, coming out each game, getting letdowns or whatever. But my first touchdown in IFL NAZ, it made me feel very special, like better than any other touchdown I scored.
Well, I'm happy. We're happy we're able to get that for you. Now let's get a bunch more of those, right?
Right.
So then it becomes old news. But at the same time, right, your first of anything is great, and especially with the crowds and the team that you have behind you. I'm sure everybody was pumped.
Yes, sir.
For getting that. That's wonderful. Now, with all the kids and families out there watching, what's some advice you can give our young players? I know we have some of our youth football teams kind of help sponsor and do things with you guys. What is some advice you can give to some of our young players out there?
Pretty much I could tell you, like, they always told me, like, no matter what, keep going. Every day is not going to be easy. Every day you're not going to feel like going. Like, I still have days now I wake up with a headache, but I still have to go because I have goals I want to reach. So keep pushing no matter what.
That's great. That's great. You got to always keep pushing. And then the kids, we need the kids, the adults, everybody. We need people to look up to that are having a good time and living their dreams. And that's what I think a lot of the players are right now doing is you're living your dreams. You're still setting your goals. And there's a lot of people out there watching the games because you're living their dream too. So, I wish I could still play, without a doubt. I was never at that level, but I can dream, right? It'd be a lot of fun. And with the IFL, what's your favorite play?
Pretty much on the offensive side, I'm a goal guy. I like running just goals and just let them throw it up.
Just doing the field, getting all the way down to the house.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's wonderful. Robin, you have any questions?
Yeah, I know all of you watching probably noticed this big bling around his neck there.
Yeah.
At least I do. I notice it. Right?
That's right.
So what is that? What can you tell me? What that?
Pretty much, I go like a lot of people that call me Couch. My last name, and then I've been wearing number 6 since I've been a little kid. So I put the C and the 6 together, and that's my brand.
Right, that's awesome.
Hold that up and show it to everybody so we know what your brand is.
Right.
The camera there.
That's awesome.
There you go. So,
That's great.
So in a couple of years or sooner, you'll be at Dick's Sporting Goods, and there'll be shirts and clothing and hats.
Right, the C6.
Right.
But what number are you on the Wranglers?
Unfortunately, I had to get number 9 because I came a little late. So
right. We had that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. That was pretty funny.
Keep your feet down so it stays as a 9. All right.
No. Well, you can catch the ball and just do a flip into the end zone, and then that'll help flip it around. Anyway,
don't get into it.
No, don't get into it.
We need you out there. Well, we appreciate you coming down and chatting with us today and letting our fans get to know you a little bit more. I know we still have some meetings and stuff that the players are going to, and we're looking forward to, because this week coming up, we're going to be playing the Rattlers. And, you're looking forward to that game?
Yes, sir.
A house game against the Rattlers. We're going to have our arena packed with our local fans in there to really make it loud and cheer you on.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much for being here. And we want to thank everybody there for being part of your Northern Arizona Wranglers Roundup.
All right, go Wranglers.
Go Wranglers.